Hi everyone, so I'm going to be doing a verbal review about the production Nailed, which played at the Market Theatre from the 8th of February to the 3rd of March, and I happened to catch the final show on Sunday. So I'm just going to speak a bit about it because I've been struggling to write an actual review of it, not because there's no content to say about it, but because there's so much to say about it. So yeah, just bear with me, and then once I finish writing, we'll post that on our page, the Movement RSA. Okay, so first of all, can I just say it was an amazing show. Like, it was so amazing. It was one of, like, it's kind of, I think it's the fourth or fifth show I've seen this year, and it's actually one of the best I've seen so far. And in terms of everything, all the aspects involved in this production was, they gelled so well together, from the set, from to the lighting, to the directing, to the acting, to the cast. Like, everything was just on point, to the costume. So I'm just going to speak a bit, I'm going to touch a bit on each of those things, just to get you guys, whatever. And then once the review is written and it doesn't look like a thesis, we will post it on our page. But for now, this is my offering about the show. It was amazing. Okay, so it first starts out with six actors. Yes, six actors, all wearing different colored shirts. So wearing yellow, green, red, black, white, and blue. And first thing I saw there was the South African flag. Those are the colors of the South African flag. So I knew that it was going to be about South Africa and obviously politics. So, and each of the characters represented a different color of the flag. So what I first noticed there was that the people of the country were black and white, which was Aya and Katlego, who wore that at the beginning, right? And the rest were all, the other four were politicians. So there was the green and the yellow, which was obviously the ANC, which was Khulu's Skenjana, Zesuliwe, Hadebe, who were wearing those two colors representing the ANC. And then Nyaniso Dzedze wore blue, which for me, I guess, was the DA, but I'll speak more about that. And then the red, which was Lunga, Khuhlane, who was wearing red, which is EFF. That was the first thing, and it started there with the MEC on a wheelchair, or this man on a wheelchair, and we didn't know why. And then it kind of was a flashback. They took us back 2 years ago as to why this person in the green was in the wheelchair. So first of all, the narrative was a circular one. So we started at the end, kind of, and we went backwards to tell us how it happened to come back to the end. So in terms of that revolving or circular narrative that we saw, that kind of speaks back to the set, which was designed by Malaka, which was an amazing set. I mean, the first time I've ever seen a revolving set was when I saw Blue at the South African State Theatre a couple of years ago. I think it was 2012 or 2013 with Atandakani, I think. And for me, that was pretty cool because I was still fresh in the industry, but then it didn't impact me as much. But then for this one, Ntavi really killed it in connecting the rotating stage with the narrative, which was very circular, where everything, what goes around comes back around, right? So, and that stage was divided into two, where one is the office of the MEC, which is where most of the story was happening, and the other one was just another house in the hood. And so it was very realistic. It was kind of like a realism setup. Obviously, it was just the revolving set in it. So I found that so amazing. It was articulated very well and was used very well by the performers. And when it began, we see this rotating stage with montages or silhouettes of what is to come in the story. So, and that was so amazing. From there, I knew that I was watching a movie in a theater, and I'm not even kidding. It was a movie. There were so many things involved in this production that looked like a movie. Like I thought I was watching a movie. I mean, one of the most pivotal thing that stayed with me and everybody in the audience, I can tell you, is the fight scene towards the end. And I kid you not, that was a movie. I've never seen anything like that in how it was, like the use of physical theater, which they said that Nyaniso Dzedze helped with, because obviously he is a physical theater guy or known for that. And guys, it was, ooh, like I don't even know how to express how everything just gelled together. I just got a lot of goosebumps throughout the production. Okay, so basically we see the MEC and how he used his power, or misused his power, so to speak, for his own personal needs instead of the needs of the community, right? So, and how that at the end led to his own destruction. Like he kind of led himself there to self-destruction, where all he cared about or what he used his power for is for his personal needs. And by personal needs, I mean personal needs and just being. So that dynamic of the slave queen and the daddy, you know, that we all see in our country now, kind of, where politicians or these older men are preying on younger women and using their money and their power to draw them in and get them to just hold on. Yeah, so as I was saying, to get what they want from young women, knowing because there was a point where two women, one was kind of a slave queen, you know, and the other one was a very educated Bantu woman going for an interview to get a tender from the MEC, but she did not get the job because she was too serious. And that kind of says a lot about where we are as a country, where it's not about being serious, you know, it's about how you look and what you can get from the other person. And for me, it said so much about politicians, because we all assume these things as the people, as to what politicians use their money for. And we can see that even the blue lights, you know, when you hear blue lights on the streets, we can't they, this political guy is going to check out his, you know, young slave queen mama, like, you know, and not actually for important things. And one thing that it said to me about the South African politics is that South African politics to me is kind of a joke, like for real. It's like in the MEC office, every time we were in MEC office, it was a party. Like not even a political party, it was a party. People were out there popping champagne, you know, having some like rum or whiskey or whatever the hell they were having. But and then he would stop in the middle of like serious things. He would be calling his side girls, you know. And I think that just says a lot about the daddy and slave queen dynamic that we have. And I just really do feel like it is a joke to a certain extent, because look, even in our Sona thingamajiggies, the State of the Nation, thing is, we always find memes and stories and just a joke, honestly. And I think this story or this production pretty much solidified what I think of the South African political scene, like, to be honest. And yeah, that's, I don't want to give too much like away about what was going on, because it is coming back, but I just don't know when. And when it does, you just gotta go watch it, because it is necessary. One important thing that I would Mpho Molepo, who was the dramaturg and the mentor for Luthando, who directed it. So basically they took it was an adaptation of a 14-page short story written by I think it's Nick Nhlongo. It's like, forgive me if I get the name wrong, but I think that's the name. And from the story, what is it called? Apricot Under the Tree of Soweto, right? Yeah. So one thing he says is, if art doesn't challenge the present time, we are fucked. Sorry to say that, but yeah. So that's what he said, and that's what this production actually did for me. It challenged everything that was happening today. I must say, in terms of the cast, they had an amazing cast. All 6 of them are one of the strongest cast people I've ever seen in an ensemble. And from the beginning, you know, when an actor is acting, when like projection, goosebumps, everything they say, they're using their diaphragm, and look, the actors were acting. And I think this, like, they couldn't be a better cast than this, and every single one of them was so strong. You can see these are trained artists, and I'm not gonna go in depth of their skills because there's just too much skill there. I just found it like this ensemble really worked well together, and it was amazing. What else can I say about it? Okay, one thing that I kind of did not appreciate or didn't enjoy the most is at a point where the character of Nyaniso, if I'm not mistaken, who is the sister of the security guy known as Ghost, or the Ghost, and he was like the MEC's right hand man. He did everything. Like, the MEC would, like, such disrespect, like, won't you be a darling and go get me champagne or go get me flowers and all that stuff, where he had to do a family thing and he was denied leave, right? And then Nyaniso came, played by Zesuliwe, right? She came, really, Zesuliwe. Oh, girl. She came, and for me, that moment when she came in as that female character, she already commanded the space. She commanded the space the moment she walked in, where even Nyaniso's character, Blue, I'll just call him Blue, Mlamli, yeah, walked out of the room because she needed to speak to the MEC and confront him about not allowing the brother to come to the funeral, the family thing. And then the moment she went up and raised her voice, and then the MEC also went up and raised her voice, just both of them, for me, lost their power there, especially Nyaniso, because she didn't need to get to that level. It's kind of like a fool competing with a fool. Now they're both fools in a sense. I'm not saying they're fools, but you get what I mean. So I don't feel in that at that point I was a bit like, should have stayed in your lower tone just to, you know, to be more assertive and stuff. And then another thing in terms of the actors wearing the colors of different political parties, I definitely think the green and the yellow and black, so Kaygee, Khulu, and Zesu, they represented those parties very, very well, particularly. But then for me, I had an issue a bit with the blue and the red, in a sense that I would have liked to see the blue or the DA kind of guy having that black coconut boy going on. Like, so I mean, I don't follow politics that much, but you know, we can see Hore, the DA, is full of white people, and then there are those black people who trying to be with the whites or the white party, and I don't think the character of Nyaniso did that for me in terms of representing that particular party. Maybe it wasn't meant to be, but that's how I saw it. And then the EFF one is like played by Lunga. Like, he played really well for it, right? Like, but for me it's like, especially if they were exploring the modern day politics, and now we know how very outspoken the FFE, Jale, what is it, EFF, we know how the EFF are like comrade, always there, like, you know, kind of like fighting, and yeah, they want to make a point about everything. And at this point I felt like he was the old EFF, so the old Julius. Yeah, nah, as in, he'd sit back, he'll still be very opinionated, but wouldn't really express it with those who needed to hear it. You get? So like, I don't think he was fighting enough for his position. And regardless of him being a security guard or the driver, he had a lot of power because he was the right hand man of the MEC, and he knew everything. And just that just shows how much those people, like our servants, the so-called servants, because even Sarah, the helper of the slave queen lady, she saw everything. She could see, but then obviously they're not paid to speak. They're paid to just keep quiet and mind their own business. So I feel like in that aspect, they could have really pushed those characters in being more vocal about what they want. But I mean, and especially because the ghost, he came from way back with the MEC. So before the MEC was even his boss, they were buddies, they were comrades together, you know, fighting at wars. So the fact that he got disrespected like that and didn't stand up for himself enough, it's a bit disappointing. But then I mean, I guess that's the dynamic of any situation, to be honest. Once somebody, if you and your friend work together somewhere and then they get a higher role than you, people change, power changes people, right? But also that goes to show that the MEC really self-destructed, because the most loyal people, the people who trusted him, are the ones who betrayed him in a sense by snitching, and which is why he lost his power and all that stuff. So that just shows, guys, don't misuse your power. It's not okay, because also you're gonna go back to the ground, you're gonna fall, you know what I mean? And they're gonna whoop you. Ha! That fighting scene, guys, as I said, that was a movie, like on another level. Like, we were shook in how it was. And you see, this is why I love physical theater also, right? It's, they can do certain things that just out of this world, because it's like it seemed so realistic. And that's one of the biggest thing in the show is I think it was based on realism. Most of it was realism, like obviously having actual drinks and fight scenes and the sex scenes, like guys, whoo, it was real. Like it looked so real. And as the Aya said, I am Mpama said that it's about trusting. So you can tell that the ensemble really trusted each other in order to what's the word? Hey, in order to oh, it's cool. Like in order to show, I don't know, but you get what I mean, to show what they wanted to show us, but it wasn't real, but it looked real. So everything was like very real. And yeah, look, in all it, like, let me just wrap it up because this is turning into, as I said, there's so much to say and I can't even write it, and I can't even write it now. I want to speak about it, but it's going on for too long. So I'm just gonna finish off and say that was an amazing show. Like, kudos to Luthando, the director, kudos to Mpho, the dramaturge, and kudos to the woman behind the scene. So costume designer was Phumelele Dlamini, the lighting designer, and the lighting was amazing, guys. The lighting was spot on. Like, I really, 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 really enjoyed the lighting as well. And it was by Nomvula Molepo. Are they? Same surname, but I don't know if they're related, but very good. And then obviously in Tabiseng Malaka. So behind the scenes, y'all did the things, ladies. Ladies stood up in formation and y'all represented, because that was, listen, okay? And Luthando, kudos. That was like, your directing skills were absolutely phenomenal. And me as a director as well, looking at that show, I was like, I'd actually like to work with this person to learn from him, because you did so many things that just, like, as a director, like, it's amazing, you know? And I'd also like to say thank you to Mpho for mentoring him and giving young people a chance to actually have a say in the industry, because also there's so many doorkeepers in our industry and they're all old, and also these old people in our industry, they don't really care about how theater is evolving and how we, the youth or the young people, see theater. And they do, all they want to do is just, they have the tenders, they have the money, they have the space, so they can just produce work, but actually don't do the research as to what works now. Their only concern is, because I mean, now I see seats being filled just because of a name and not because the production was actually good. Because I actually saw a production a couple of weeks ago, I'm not going to name it, and I was very disappointed. And I was very, very disappointed. And it was by a veteran, somebody who you'd respect. Some, like, there was a standing ovation that I did not feel was well deserved. Well, this one, because Mpho mentored, gave this young person a story and be like, hey, I'll help you with it, this is what I want. And Luthando articulated every single thing that needed to be said, and like beyond, actually. That is what a collaboration is. That is what fusing our veterans and our modern artists, and it's needed. Stuff like that is really needed, guys, because they're like, with all these doorkeepers, they really give young people a chance to express themselves, because I don't know, Barnyatsa mara shame. Luthando, you stood up for us, and I'm like, kudos, maniga, kudos. And I don't know, everything just really worked out together. Like the costumes, the lighting, the set, the acting, the physical theater, the style of theater, the projection, the just everything. I think the only thing for me that wasn't necessary as well was I guess maybe it was important using the voiceover in the beginning of the story while the audience is walking in, but I didn't really pay any attention to it, so I don't think it was necessary. It wasn't needed. We didn't need to hear those things because the story itself told us everything that was needed to say. And I just hope that it comes back, and when it does, please do check it out. And again, I'm still working on the written review, guys, so just bear with me there. And when it's released by our company, you guys will be the first to know. But again, I'd just like to say, nailed. Y'all nailed it, you know what I'm saying?